And then we list specific activities or joint projects along with who should be involved and who they could contribute. So we came up with 3 different things. So one of them is going to be something that's like a little bit more broad, very like you would need the help of the government, and that would be like one of the conversations we had was there's a big problem of expired medication back home, where people they will just instead of like throwing away the expired medication, they'll just change the medication like the expiration date and then just say that it's ready to be sold again. So it would be something that, because we have some software engineers here, it would be like something that an app or like a software that we could set up a database where it keeps track of the expiration dates. And then so someone will be able to, someone in the government that is reliable and responsible will be able to tell the people that this is not sellable, and if you get caught, you could, obviously there'll be some legal, they'll be disciplined. So that was one of the things, but the second one is what we're trying to do right now with SLPA is mentorship and education and give people job opportunities. So one of the big things in Minnesota, and now I'm going to come back to Minnesota, our community, one of the big things in Minnesota is that a lot of the landers don't know each other. Like I know a lot of you guys met each other just here, right? And there's even people that were hooping with each other and they didn't even know that they were in Somaliland, you know? So it's like something that consistent, either every month or every 2 months, something that people will show up and they know a place where they could show up and then they could talk to each other. And also that would be a place where right now, say you have a niece or a nephew or a brother or sister that's trying to go into medicine. Right now, if you have somewhere that you know that these people are going to show up every 2 months, then you will say, okay, I know somebody that will show up. Let me bring you to that event and let me put you on with them. So it's like something like that in Minnesota that would allow the youth to thrive and also for them to find opportunities that they wouldn't be able to find otherwise. And then another thing, the other one we talked about is a lot of, I didn't know this, I mean, we didn't have this trouble in our family, but there's a lot of people that didn't go back home, that never went back home. So they're just Somaliland by, like, in theory. So they never saw it, they never walked it. So they need to, go back home. So I was like, maybe setting up something, a community, or like a way, like, you know how, I don't know if it's right to say, but like, you know how the Jews, they do the birthright, right? Where they go back, or we send them back home and they get to know the people, and they get to know the family, and we'll put them like in a bull and in the meat, and then get to a 2-week program. Yeah, they'll travel, they'll get to understand the area, right? So then, you heard it, everybody donate. Yeah, so it would be something that, like, you set up a trip for them, they go back home, they understand where they're coming from. Then they could come back to America and then they could do something about the problems they see. But right now, if they don't even know what's back there, all they know is what they see on TV and what they hear from their parents, which could be biased. So you'll be able to see with your own eyes what you could do for your country. So that's one of our things. And something that's a side note on that is we have a lot of Abarso students. I think some of you guys, raise your hands if you're from Abarso. You graduated Abarso. So I know Abarso is a great school. It's an amazing opportunity that they give. So it will be something that we could like spread that out throughout Somaliland. There will be more Abarso schools. I know our people are a little suspicious all the time. The Border Academy too. Yeah, the Border Academy. So, like, trying to bring more and more opportunities for the people back home to come back into the international, international countries, and then they will be able to go back home and do something. So they will learn their degrees and then become like engineers, doctors, and then they'll go back and they will build their country. So we need to we already have some, like what we said, Academy in Abarso, but to encourage more to go back to make more schools and make more connections so that we could make the youth stronger and build our country back home. So that's what we have from our table.
Okay, so in terms of specific educational challenges or challenges we identified in our community, the first one was lack of mentorship, as others have already discussed, and then connection in terms of just like us being connected. This is first time I'm seeing many of your guys' faces, and I've lived in Minnesota my entire life. And then lack of access to opportunities and barriers to entry. So many of us, especially individuals that might be in college or might be the younger generation in general, might be interested in a variety of careers that some of the individuals here have pursued, correct? So building a network is one solution that we highlighted. So building a local network that can provide solutions, whether that's like tax issues, any other issues that our community might be facing, whether that's mentorship or other types of support, even potentially building like a Somaliland Professional Association chapter for Minneapolis, just so people here are connected, right? Like we see each other pretty frequently, whether that's once a month or that is quarterly. And then in terms of solutions, in terms of professionalism, one thing that we thought would be beneficial was hosting like career panels for college students, maybe going to different colleges and having career panels, networking events, as well as also getting our community involved, whether that's like local businesses, having them get involved in Somaliland Public Association, as well as just professional association, and whether that, like if they have opportunities to provide, whether that's like internships, just getting our community more connected, just to alleviate a lot of those gaps, right? And then one resource that we highlighted that is underused is students, right? We're all here. We don't know each other. We could be, some of us might be accountants, right? Some of us might be CPAs. Some of us are medical providers. So getting to know each other and actually building a community and network that can bridge a lot of these gaps is a big solution that could be beneficial to all of us as Somalilanders. And that's it.
And networking and building a community around whatever field that you're studying or you're working in or degree you're in. So as Somali I don't have because one of the things that I think had in had to come in Somali. So action activity by lady networking كل واحد وضع شيء like a lot of you واحد in a community or somewhere. But I also think that as a person it's up to you in a community كاجراديسي. إن أنا لوجو بلي كراينين because Somaliland bakatimi إن أنا لوجو أرانين oh you're from Somaliland or like I got to go that you're being racist against others. So being proud of who you are and feeling comfortable enough to say that we're حرادين like قف from Somaliland bakatimi. And like I said, 7 years ago, I saw in Minneapolis, or state of Minnesota, so like in community, I feel like in a high still good idea of melaha karadina information. I was one of the first people that was a program manager here at this university right now for a program that was serving under served communities. So part of the challenges waxa la igu oran jiray Soomaaliga marka arkaan mareer waqooyi baa tahay and waxa la igu xijin jiray qabiilkee baa tahay. So that challenge, I challenge myself to get to know my community. So you can have challenge yourself. In America, I can talk to that community gaga or proud that you got to know them. It doesn't hurt to know who you are. And qabilka waxa loo sameeyay ilaahay inuu ku sameeyay in isku kala barano oo naqaano qofkan nahay meesha ka nimid. Kala waxay ahayd Somaliland platform or social media in a lot of community career Minnesota or information ka wada heli karaan. I feel like that there's a lot of platforms out there and that community ku dhex jira way ogyihiin but they don't know kay raaci lahaayeen. So as professionals iyo ardayda iyo dadka professionals ka support garaya inay kulligood like platform loo sameeyo meel ay isugu yimaadaan that we can get information from or dadka regular meetings loo sameeyo. So there's another Somaliland professional of Minnesota, I think, and professionals kan aqaana dhan 90% ban kuma jiraan. So haddii mid kale inta la samaynin ina kaas uu noqdo mid dadka dhan wada gaarayo, I think that would be a good idea. And then sector kale loo sameeyo oo dumarka ah. I feel like nimanka politics ka dhex galay. So excuse me, those young of you that kuma jirtaan, but lakin dumarka I feel like inaan ka nahnay more active than nimanka markay noqoto in community-ga la isku keeno. So in loo sameeyo sector dumarka. And then Soomaaliga baa laga hadlayay, like I think su'aasha la weydiinayay language-ka bay ka hadlaysay. So practicing at home. Like I said, hakan anigoo yar baa imi, lakin af Soomaaligayga hadda qof waan ku iibsan karaa. So dadka waxay u maleeyaan naaday ma. So hadda aaba tahday young parents ka waliba, I'm not saying wallahi because hakan waa joogay in badan 30 sano to be exact. Lakin af Soomaaligayga wuu fiican yahay. And then caruurtaydana inaan baraba isku daya. So kulligan haddaan isku dayna inaan caruurtayna barno. And again, going back home, haddana Somaliland wali aadin. The first time I think 2016 bay ahayd. And I've been going back every year. I think COVID kun baa misgareeyay. So inaan caruurtaynana u samayno. Waxa kale baan samaynaa, we take vacation even if it's 2 weeks. Most recently hadda waxa ka yimid 3 weeks baan soo joogay. So it could be short, but like waxay arkayaan dhaqanka ka jira iyo wadankii dadku siday u nool yihiin, and they're going to be more grateful for waxa iyaga siinaysid, but they're also going to want to go back oo waxa adigu samaynaysa in iyagana sameeyaan to make a difference. And warda ilaa khayra siiyo gabdhaha numberka way ka ururisay in badan. So intaani wali gaarin waxa la wardo kaalaya iyada u samaynaysa gabdhaha reer Minnesota platform ay ku communicate gareeyaan. And then and like I said, waxa jirta Somaliland loo sameeyay xafladaha noqoto ani first and bomb-kaygi Somaliland community-ga kusoo dhex galay big project ka qayb galay waa hayn buu ahaa. So you don't belong there cidma ku gooranayso. Haddaad timaadaad tiraahdo I'm here, I wanted to help, waa lagu ogolaanayaa. And haddii lagu ogolaan waayana aniga isoo raadi. Thanks to Sophia iyada ay geysay eventkii ugu horeeyay. So iyada kala joogta. So maanta waxaad leeyahay kulligiin haddaa aragtaan meel Somaliland wax lagu hadalhayo ka qayb qaato wuxuu doonaba ha ahaado. It may not be something that you're interested in, but like waxaa ku baranaysaa dad haysataan the same interest, and then you can create your own platform loo baahan yahay in the future inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum everybody, my name is Naima, and we mainly focus on challenges that the community back home is facing. So the number one was, I am one of the varsity students, so the first thing I thought about was back home because that's where I grew up, and most of my life I was in the visa. So the first thing that came to my mind was access to higher education, especially like college, uni level. One thing that I noticed from family members, neighbors was education seems to be accessible when it comes to like primary school, high school. Like here, when it comes to university, and oftentimes if you come from low income background, and it's a bit of a struggle, especially in knowing that in any change universities, even the public ones, are not completely free. So for example, the last time I was aware of, it's been like 4 years since I've been back home, but it was, I think, per semester 300. And not everyone can afford that. So I am also familiar with some solutions. I know one of them. There are some qabeels that come together and they put funds together for college level students. But like it's not that common. So one thing that we thought about was collaborating with local companies such as the Habshir, Telesom, and even Somalis outside of the country. So to set up scholarships. And also it's very important that we like advertise the scholarships, because if you don't have access to internet, it's very hard. Even here, it's very hard to know about the opportunities that exist. So going to high schools in Hargeisa, Burco, and all that everywhere, and telling the students that the opportunities are valuable for you if you can't afford university. And I remember this because I think oftentimes if the family is having a problem, financial problem, it's usually the habla that take the backseat. So say, and so long as you come from a big family, so say that there's a brother and a sister and they're both there to go to university and they can afford 300 per semester. That's 600, that's a lot of money, honestly. So it's usually in time. And that's actually when a lot of girls get married. So, and I think if you collaborate with local companies, they could set up funds, scholarships, even Hagan, we can raise funds, and that will also allow students to take education very serious. Because once you know that there are opportunities for you after high school, you will take high school seriously, and also it will create competition for students. And it's sad that some students don't get higher education just because they can't afford. So that was the first problem we noticed. And then we also talked about mental health. And mental health is a big problem back home. Alhamdulillah, now there are organizations that are spreading awareness about mental health. And there's a lot of stigma around mental health back home. So one of the solutions is to incorporate into curriculums, mental health into curriculums, to teach students about mental health and acknowledging that mental health is something that is real and it's not something that's created by chin and all of that. Like, there is medicine for it. It's something that happens to people all around the world, and we don't even have like and that's like I think shows you like and they don't have names for a thing. That's more so like different mental health illnesses, that's it. You just beat them. It's just like, oh, that's well. So I don't think and you also just how to take care of your mental health and all of that. And then we also talked about find ways to end youth using card. And one of the solutions is to create after-school programs such as sports and summer programs and things like that. Because people are bored, especially when you don't have anything to do. And back home in Richland, like you can go to amusement park, take a walk. There are no beaches, and you don't really have activities to you just like trapped inside. You can't go anywhere. And I'm not going to be able to do and how do I say that? I'm going to get a lot of I don't think it's like a daily thing. Maybe not but I think creating after-school programs would be very nice. And then also we can talk about a lot of the stuff like mentorship and when we talk about we can talk about the scholarships that are valuable when you're going to university. And then the different majors, and all of that good stuff. So, thank you.
انت عايزين تقال في التيتري انما يقرنا يلقيها بابا كير دريا نعم waxay ka timi khamiisaha waxa jirta gaar ahaan Somaliland wiilashu khamiista xilli hore iskuulka xilli hore iskuulka waxa dhacda barteen baa la hawa fariisan gelka dambe so khamiista oo kala qaadku aad uga qaadsan yahay maalmaha so pointiga khulus ila qawiyan yani idea ma kan say dadkan loo abuuro waxay qabtaan loo abuuro ama after school programs halkay ka timo waxay ahayd kaas waxaan aragnay that's exactly waxa dhaca xilliyada ay dadku helaan fursadaha bannaan ayay taasi dhacdayo doonta inay dhacdo marka haddii aynu u abuuri karno dhalinyarada iyo dhalinyarta iskuullada ku jirta waxa ay qaban karaan oo ay ka qayb qaadan karaan xilliyada aanay iskuullada jirin ama activity regular ay ka qayb qaadan jireen dan waxa laga yaabaa inay qaar badan oo kamid ah badbaadi karaan waxay soo badbaadiyay karaan
groupkeygani waxaan anaguna qaadanay groupkaas waxay qaateen oo inaan ka hadalno caqabadaha aragtay ay fiisgareeyaan dhalinyarada ama Somaliland ku dhaqan magacayga maxamed cabdiraxmaan xuseen ana waqtigii waxaana aqoonsan laakiin gruubkii koowaad baan ahaa markaa waxaan laakiin horta marka Somaliland laga hadlo horta qodobka waxa weeye we don't have a culture of work culture family dad aragtida wada wasaaradaha meelaha maaragtay halbowlaha Somaliland engine of the economy dadku way shaqo tagaan shaqada laakiin waxa weeye waxa la tagayaa sagaalkii laba tuug laga soo raaxa marka dadka lagu leeyahay ardayda maaragtay mentorship loo sameeyo mentorship loo sameeyo they have the role models why your picture of work waxa weeye nin iska kacaya sagaalkii laba tuug soo noqonaya like you don't want to do that you don't want to waste your time and then they get a paycheck at the end of the month but that's going to take a long time to change like you might kind of some practical things that some challenges that we can maybe work on at the moment lack of skill-based education. Public education, Somaliland curriculum waxa weeye waxaa road memorization. Marka Google would do a upper bowl page and then you have to memorize this book away. And then by the end of the semester, the time that's it and you move on to the next class. Like what skills are better to digital. But I think that's one big thing that we can focus on is skills training. At the elementary school, like primary school, middle school, all of that. Why not? Some things they are required to go to college. I don't know what automatically four-man or I don't know what it. I don't know what to say. I learned I got to sit. I got to sit. They don't require you to go to college. You can learn those skills. Internships, like it's not necessarily. If you get those skills, then you can go to the workforce. And we don't need to get like, Somaliland, like waxyaaba ka shaqeeya shaqooyinkaas waxa weeye dad maaragtay meelo kala keli wey Pakistaniyiin, Hindi, Oromo, like that's dad meelo kala keli wey garanaysaa marka shaqa abuuris badan bay sameyn lahayd haddaan taa focus saarnaan skills maaragtay aan siino skills abilityna ta kale waxa weeye capacity ma lihin wali macallimiinta marka dhahdo macallimiin ma lihin la tarayngareeyey oo diyaar u ah maaragtay inay generationkan soo socota ay wax ka bedelaan waxbarashadooda thankfully we have University at Somaliland laga dhisay we have two teachers at Baraba University soo tarayngareysay marka waxaan u baahanay more Baraba University soo baahanay oo macallimiinta lagu tarayngareeyo oo waliba maaragtay macallimiinta la baro mentalityga macallimiinta la change gareeyo la baro macallinkii inuu curriculum maaragtay ardayga wax ka dhisaya skillsiisa dhisaya inuu ardayga baro oo ardayga maskaxdiisa furaya oo ardaygii maaragtay ka dhigi ardaygaas inuu arday noqonaya magaranaysa keligii u fikiri karaya oo keligii wax u qabsan karaya and then I think ugu dambeysana waxa ayaan ka hadalnay inaan de kambaniyo maaragtay aan sameyno private public relations kambaniyo privatekii badankoodu dadkiina lacag ka qaadaan wax manfacood badan dadka kuma soo kordhiyaan kolley waan intii Somaliland la socotaa oo maqashay ma filaya inay tala sameyn somteeda ay isku tageen ay goy 50% ku dalacaan dadka masaakiinta 100% ku dalacaan waxaas waa qof maaragtay maaha ka fikiraya dadka maaragtay maatada maaragtay ka fikiraya waxay ka fikirayaan their pockets marka haddana kombaniyada maaragtay dowladda u tugaada online waxaan ka doonaynaa inaan ardayda loo tarayngareysaan in ardayda internship siisaan inaad maaragtay dalkiina wax ku ceshataan oo aad wax weydiin mar walba waxaan maaragtay gidibso waxaan gidibso aad dadkii maaragtay aad actually dadkiini maalgashataan waayo the best investment waa human capital human investment wey marka taana kinatan ku dadaalno insha allah waxba nahagaagi doono asalaamu calaykum
My name is An'am Awad. I'm a Sila's sister. I just want to say something that Shireen, I don't know where she is. Oh, she said something that I really respect. Okay, so I'm sorry, my Somali, but something I noticed in university, so I just graduated this May, and I studied political science and psychology and sociology, and I'm the first daughter of my family, first kid, and my parents came in the 2000s, and Minnesota is mainly people who are not like Somaliland. There are not many people from Somaliland from Minnesota. And the ones that I know from Somaliland are like landers, they're not very prideful of who they are, and the fact that they're landers. And I think that's really like shameful. It's that we call each other like, yeah, we know we're Somali, and you go play basketball. I know somebody mentioned like they're playing basketball, and or they knew somebody from class. We didn't know that they were from Somaliland until this event or some other event. That's just ebb. And like I heard stories from my family talking about the things that they went to, like all the stuff they went through in the war. Like we need to stop calling it a civil war. It was a genocide. Our people went through a genocide. Our people were getting murdered and raped and everything. And we're just gonna not call ourselves Somaliland because people are making fun of us. Who cares if not iron? Like they killed us, so we have to be very proud of our country. I don't say I'm from Somalia. I'm from Somaliland, and I don't have my island like my bracelets, but I'm very proud. And every Somali person, we have our own culture, and everybody's proud of their culture, and they celebrate it. But why is it us? We're not happy of our dialect, our culture. Like for example, we need to stop calling like Wawa or Angelo, it's Laha. And mashallah, everybody made good points about mentorship and starting businesses and stuff like that. I hope everybody can hear me from here, but like we're making good points at like mashallah, but like how are we gonna do these initiatives? We're not even prideful of ourselves. I know we make more than this amount of people in this room. Somalilanders, we make a lot in Minnesota. I know it's a small number, but we are a huge number. And I know we should do these initiatives, but you know what? It starts from being prideful. You need to remember where your people came from. When I cut them, the Gala, nice from when they came here with nothing. And I know you work on my Somali, inshallah I will. But wallahi, it starts from being proud of who we are. Like, and she brought a good point about Kabila. Like, Kabilism is really wrong. But we have to know about our culture, because it starts with your dialect and your culture, and it's very beautiful, and people use it for wrong things. That's true. But we need to know where we came from. And inshallah, and also we have to show up for each other. And when it comes to events, we have to be on time, we have to be very together, and we have to be there for each other.